Welcome to the Friends in Film podcast. My name is Janet Urban. I've been teaching Friends in Film for 15 years. I show people how to get into the film industry and work, how to become a professional. What you're going to learn from me is all the inside, unspoken stuff that you will not hear anywhere. Even if you've been doing background on film sets, you will not hear how to actually get inside and excel to these top positions in the film industry. As a director, as a DP, as a producer, as an actor. What you're going to learn here is all the stuff that film school doesn't teach you, that you need to know if you want to actually excel to the highest levels. See, we think that the film industry is so hard and that it's going to take us a long time to get to where we want to be. But what it actually is a bunch of small steps that you do that get you on film sets, that get you learning your craft and getting good at your craft and getting opportunities to do your craft so that you do it consistently and get called for it every single week. So come work with us with Friends in Film. You've taken the first step by listening to this podcast, and I look forward to enlightening you everything that you need to know about working in the professional film industry. This is Archie.
Hi, everyone.
Archie from Toronto that just decides to fly down to LA and get on some shoots. I mean, what I was telling them, what I love about that is it's so out of the box. It's so doing what other people won't do. So yeah, tell us about your shoot yesterday.
Oh, it was so good. I found them on a Facebook group. And they responded to me right away. It ended up being a pickup day, so a one-day shoot for a pickup shoot that they had shot earlier, I think some months ago. It was at the filmmaker's home. She wrote the script with her friend, so it was a very personal story, which I could really relate. It's just so interesting, and you're in someone's personal home, you know. You're touching their personal belongings, and you're doing the sets display with their, you know, valuable things that they've had like their whole life.
Because you were working in art department.
Yes, so I applied for an unpaid PA position / art PA. But this time, because I was more a PA, I helped load in gear. You know, I did things that I didn't normally do because I was mainly in art department. So I helped and it was a really small crew. So I helped take down, you know, like the lights and like help, you know, the camera department, the gaffing, because the AC also did the lights. So it was like one man doing two jobs. And then, and everyone was so sweet.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you get to know each other, is by working together and helping each other. It's like, otherwise it's like I'm doing my job and it's still great. I mean, I love connecting with all the departments, but when you can, like, I've just noticed, like, if I pick up a sandbag or I help people wrap stuff, or I'm like, oh, I'm going this way, let me grab that C-stand. They're just like, I love you. And then it's just like blossoms the the friendship.
And conversations so naturally just develop. They'd be like, oh, so are you looking to get into, like, they initiate it. They're like, oh, are you looking to get into, you know, production, or like, what are you working on, or like, what kind of background, you know, and then you just talk to people. And I found out, like, most of these guys, they didn't even go to film school. Like, the main girl, she studied chemistry, and then she became an actor on her own. The other girl also, like, her boyfriend, she's like, he studied neuroscience, and then he got into film. Everyone kind of comes from different backgrounds, and they just find their own passions in their own way and find their own journey.
Which is such a great message, because a lot of people think they have to study it and then that the doors are going to open, and they're exactly the ones that the doors don't open for. The doors open for people that are like interesting, that are following their passions, that are like, I love this, but I also love storytelling. And like Damien Chazelle, you know, he was a musician, he was a drummer, right? And he's like, you know, I could go down this path and become a professional musician, and I could also do filmmaking and bring my passion in for that. And that's what I was telling them about this book here.
I love this book. I have
Yeah.
it too.
Do you?
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, Omar let me borrow it. So I know I love this book, and this is what it's about. This is being an artist, being exactly who you are, and deciding that you're going to work with all these people and find your people on film sets and start getting paid that way. And, you know, we always want it to happen right away, right now. But that's because you haven't experienced that it will happen for yourself. Like, we want it right away when we don't know if it's going to happen, because we're like, I just need to get in there right away. But really what you want to do is you want to know that this is happening for yourself and you're developing your skills and your abilities. Because what Archie learned yesterday was working with now, you know, LA people and art department people. And it's just like the perspective just keeps shifting and growing, and your vibration actually keeps increasing.
Changing, yeah.
Yes. And then you start attracting the bigger work.
Exactly.
Yes. You guys get this, right? I mean, I know you get it because, like, I've already talked to a lot of you guys here. But you don't get the bigger work. You don't get the jobs. You don't get the work until you are ready for it, and we always just want it, but we're not ready for it. So let's just grow into it.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my
You're
gosh,
so sweet.
Well, no, I'm not being sweet. I'm being like, I am
Thank
very
you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Coming down here by yourself, you know, finding shoots, you know, implementing this program down here. You know, nobody said to do that. You're just like, I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I'm learning so much. Just for example, I went to a music show. Like, I love music. I always like to check out the local music. And the DJ I met, he was like, "Oh, I have actor friends that lie and say and give a fake address of the city that they want to be acting in, because that shoot only wants locals." And he's like, they basically lie, give a fake address, pretend they're locals, and fly themselves out and then get on the shoot. And they just, some people just love to travel and explore new cities and make their own way that way.
Working it like that. I mean, you might be like, oh, they shouldn't do that. But I mean, I understand it, because that is working. That's working the business, because if you it's really true.
It's funny.
I mean, it is kind of funny, but it's like these people that are hiring you guys, they just want to put you on hold and be done with it. You don't even want to instill like, oh, I got to figure out the city and get my rental car and my flight might show up. I mean, they don't want to even hear it. That's your problem. It's like they don't. So therefore, you just remove that. And if you want to work as a local and you're willing to work as a local, then you just tell them that this is my address or this is where I'm based. And it is where you're based. You might be flying in from somewhere, but that's where you're based. Yeah.
Yeah, and same with this shoot. I didn't tell them that, I'm from Canada or like I'm not from the city. But they weren't, they just wanted people to help out. Yeah. But later I told them, they're like, oh, like what, like where are you from or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm actually not from around here. I'm from Canada, and I'm just visiting. So.
Are they like, did you tell them like, I just flew down here to get on some shoots? Did you?
No, I just was like, yeah, I have family and friends down here. Just came to hang out and visit and also, see if there's projects around. But then when I told my family, I did the opposite. I'm like, yeah, I'm here on like a bazillion project. Because my family is like, they don't get the art world. They don't get like, they're all like lawyers, businessmen, da-da-da. So I'm like, I play it off. And then they try to ask me, they're like, well, what is this shoot? Tell me about it. I'm like, oh, I signed an NDA. I can't talk about it. Bye.
That's hilarious.
I just get out of that conversation.
Well, you could tell them. I mean, they'd be like, it's just a foreign land to them.
Yeah. They don't get it. I feel like they don't get it.
Yeah.
It's tough navigating.
That's okay. They never do. That's fine. I mean, when you work on the big commercials and you work on the stuff in Toronto, well, now do they get that? They get that.
Yeah, my parents do. Yeah, they get that. It's like you kind of have to like, you know, they only understand like big names.
Yeah.
And then they don't actually understand the process and the
Yeah.
lifestyle that comes with it, you know?
Well, yeah. I
a
mean,
whole
none of us do
lifestyle.
until you live it. You don't understand it. I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years. I do understand it, but it's still like, it's since it's all people, it's really like you're creating your career through and keeping in touch with people. That's what it is. It's like this job that I have that's starting Monday and Tuesday. This person, I've worked with her. I don't remember her. I don't know what she looks like. And poof, out of the blue, hey, are you available? You know, these 2 days. It's
There you
this,
go.
yeah, this shoot. And the two that I did last week, I did with one was Zendaya.
Awesome.
Yeah, that
That's
one was, this is a good example for you guys. So this was an Italian producer that I worked with last year on 3 shoots. Before that, I worked with him 3 years ago on 1 shoot during COVID. And I'm like, I love this guy, but everybody loves this guy. And so I didn't see him for 3 years, pretty much. And then he started calling me last year. I might have reached out to him, right? Just saying, hey, how you doing? Love to work with you again. He's like, okay, I'll hire her. Okay, you're available next Tuesday. So I worked with him like 3 jobs last year. And then he's the one, then I sent him an email like 2 weeks ago, like I teach you guys to do. And hey, just checking in. And he's like, oh, okay, great. Sounds good. I've got a job at the end of the month. Are you available? Now that was the end of this month, 3 days. So I'm on that. So that came in from that email. And then he's like, oh, by the way, we have the Zendaya shoot. Are you available? And that was the one we did last week.
Awesome.
So it's like, you guys, you plant these little seeds with people and you nurture these seeds. Now, you're also good at your job when you're there. Everybody thinks you're great. You're amazing. The director has to like you. Everybody has to be like, oh, this person's got great energy for them to be like, that's my first call, because I'm his first call now. So all these other people, somehow I jumped up there into his first call. And so I'm still a lot of people's second calls, and I'm a lot of people's first calls. But you know, this is what it is, what a career is. It's people. It's just all people. So we got to get in there. Okay, so tell us your credits. Tell us how, like some of the
Sure.
biggest shoots that you've been on in Toronto, and what networks or what are the names and.
So credit, I mean, I guess you don't get credit for commercials, but I worked on some bigger brands. The first commercial I worked on was for CF Toronto, and that's a really big real estate company that owns a ton of property, ton of malls. So they're huge, and that shoot I found from a Facebook group. The way it worked was I actually came to your free calls and you had mentioned to attach a photo to your email. So I attached a photo, sent an email.
This is before you were in the program?
Before, yeah. This was when I was just getting on your free calls in the beginning.
Just
before
like these guys.
Yeah. So I attached a photo and I sent in, and it was like Christmas. They did 2 commercials in 3 days. It was really hectic, but I was familiar with that kind of like speed because I had worked in making window displays for H&M. So I was familiar, like that was already like in my body. And it's so funny because now we are friends with this girl. She calls me back on shoots for assistance whenever she needs one.
What is she? What's her position?
She is a production designer slash actress.
Oh, really? See,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah,
The duel
yeah.
again. Yeah.
And so she tells people, they're all like, oh, we love Archie. Where did we find you again? And she says, oh, I found her on Facebook. And I was flooded with so many emails, but she had a photo. And
She was flooded with so many emails, but she
she's
saw
like,
that photo. And
yeah.
she's like, I like her energy.
And my photo was me literally in a trucker cap, smiling, and it was like a
Smiling
selfie.
your head off.
Yeah, someday sunny. And just attached a photo, and she calls me back, and it's like a year later, we're friends. We actually live close to each other. And I've been on shoots with them. So yeah, so that's how I came across this relationship. Then yes,
Are you art PA with her?
yes,
Okay. Are you
pretty
doing any
much.
set dressing yet? Yet.
I mean, because they're doing commercials, we're doing
Mm-hmm.
all of it. She
Mm.
actually does wardrobe. They hire her for wardrobe and production design. So she's doing both. So then I end
Mm-hmm.
up assisting her with both sometimes, like with
Mm-hmm.
the commercials. So then I've
Awesome.
done, returns. I've done
Yeah.
returns. I've done like preps. There was prep days, where you're like picking up props from rental house, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we're set dressing too. Yeah, right away we were
Yeah.
set dressing.
So fun.
So we started doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so I built that relationship. Then through her, I met another girl who's the same thing, production designer and actress.
Okay.
And she actually, I sent her a want to work text because
Uh-huh.
we also became friends. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm available. And this was in January. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up? How's your project? Because
Yeah.
she hired me on her passion project in
Yeah.
wardrobe assist.
Ah. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, what's going on? How's your project? Are you
Yeah.
editing yet?
Common point. Okay, great. She's kind of telling you guys a little bit of our inside ways that we're developing these relationships.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
always like, I always try to make it about them
Mm-hmm.
and ask about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, hey, I'm available. What's up? She's like, oh, I might have something for you. And that ended up being this project, which is a new sketch comedy that's actually being aired in a Bell Media. So Bell Media is a big, like, what is it, like TV production company. And this is being produced by Bruce McCullough, who was from Kids in the Hall.
Mm.
And so they're screening that
Awesome.
on the 14th or something. So
Oh,
they're
you'll be back
actually,
there for that.
yeah, so I'll be
Oh, good.
back there.
Yay. You got to go and
Yeah,
then meet more people and get on
yeah,
more
yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like once you get working and you're working with people, she's got people, companies, and consistent work. See the three elements of vectoring, right? You can sit now. You can see it now. So that makes people go like, "Oh, okay. Are you available?"
Yeah, and I didn't go to film school, I don't know, I don't know that much about film. I went to art school and then I worked as a window visual manager. So I was building sets for window displays for
Yeah,
like, it's like a Times Square, but in Toronto.
yeah.
And so I was really familiar with that level of detail, like extreme. It was actually more higher level of detail than film, like
Oh,
way higher.
wow.
So I was really familiar with that. Plus working fast, like I had to be there at 4 a.m. before the store opens, get the whole thing done by, before the store opens at 9. So then I was styling mannequins plus dressing. So then I got to do, it's almost like two departments. You're doing wardrobe, styling, plus, and that was a full-time job. So, and then,
Yeah, and that's awesome because it's like, see, it's similar to some of the conversations that we had before that you got here. You know, we're doing things that are not the film sets, but we have skills. We're working on deadlines. We're doing things
yeah,
to perfection. We're communicating with
exactly.
people, making sure that the way we say things. You know, so it's like, oh yeah, she gets it because they say things wrong one way. They're just like, oh, how many times have you done this? You know, you have to be able to respond. But yeah, so a lot of people you probably didn't like talk about what you did in the Times Square and all these things. It's more like they're like, oh, you seem to know what you're doing, and you're like, yeah, I used to do this something like this, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool, and that's about it. You know?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's just about being able to use the skills you already have, getting into some department, and then just further developing it. Or you can start going into new directions. Yeah, you got to have the learner, what is it? Beginner's mindset, where you're
Yeah.
just constantly learning things.
Yeah, the curiosity, the fascination, the sense of wonder on every shoot. Yeah, grateful to be there.
Yeah.
Grateful.
And that's a huge, huge part of it because it shows. It shows when you're, doing the little things that might seem like silly, that you don't want to do, like cleaning up, taking out the garbage, things like that. But it's really like these guys, who I worked with yesterday, she was so appreciative. And it's funny because she was like, people that were contacting her to work on the film, they would just flop out. They would just fall through.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to hear from
Flaky.
from her perspective, how she was being met with when people were applying to her positions as well.
And you said that some of the people on this shoot that you did the last 2 days are professionals?
Yeah, so the director apparently worked on Glee. And then the DP worked on music videos, one of them being Neo. And we were laughing about, and I was like, "Oh, show me some," and he showed me the Neo music video, and it was like shaking butts, on a stripper pole, and he was talking about how he felt uncomfortable because he was the AC, how he felt uncomfortable having to focus on their bodies. But I'm like, but why? Like, they're all there for the same thing, you
Yeah.
shouldn't feel bad. So it was,
Yeah.
and these conversations happened right on set. He was like, yeah, I also worked as a art PA, and I also did that. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and then by the end of it, they were like,
Relating.
oh, they told me, they're like, oh, we know some production designers actually that you could work with. I'm like, sure, yeah, give me their info. I would love to connect with them. Yeah.
That is so amazing. You guys, so you see. Yeah, it's like you just get on the shoots. You're great to work with. That's it. Great to
Yeah.
work with. And then get to know people. And then connections just come out of them, come out of their ears. Then you follow up with those people. Hey, I work with so-and-so. And you're creating these triangles of trust. And you'll learn this inside the program, but triangles of trust. Because it's the people, companies, and consistent work. That's the 3 things. That's the vectoring.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, have fun. This is a great program.
Oh, tell them that.
Janet's great. Yeah, Janet's great. And yeah, it's fun. You should be having fun. Yeah, have fun. Get lots of rest, get lots of sleep. All these things, meditate. These are things I take really, really seriously because these are the things that get you to the level where you have enough energy to be there for other people when you're on set. So do the work. It takes work, and you'll begin to see how much a lot of people aren't putting in that work. And that's the work that only you can do for yourself. If you feel like you're in a survival state, that's the state you want to get out of, because your body starts to react to that. You start developing pains, insomnia, chronic pain, chronic diseases.
A lot of doubt. And it perpetuates more doubtful feelings and negative self-talk.
And these things, they show, and people can pick up on that unconsciously, and do whatever you can do for yourself to get yourself to a place where you feel good, where you're not financially stressed, to be like, oh, this sucks, I'm not even being paid for this, oh, this da, 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 but it's like, you should just do it because you want to give. And when you get, the more you give, the more you get. Exponentially, you get back. Like, you'll see. And this reinvention model, every time I came to one of the weekly sessions and participated, I had a breakthrough.
So the self-coaching model, you're creating thoughts. And those thoughts are rewiring your brain, which is rewiring your body. And that changes your vibration or your energy. So of course you know that you're going to be on shoots. Of course you know you're going to make 50 grand.
Yeah.
a year. Of course, you're going to meet all the right people. Of course, you just know it because you already pictured it.
Because you may,
in
and
your
then I'm
mind.
like,
and you also practice those thoughts.
then you feel so powerful. You're like making a movie up in your head, but it's your life.
All right.
Good luck. Have fun. That's the whole point. Have fun in life. Okay, guys. Bye.
So awesome. You've just expanded your mind about the film industry. So instead of taking stabs in the dark and trying all these different things, how about you focus 10 months of you working in the film industry with me helping you? That would be our craft certification program. If you're interested in that, go to friendsinfilm.com/join and come in with us. That's friendsinfilm.com/join. I'll see you there.